speaking affirmations over yourself. The more you hear it, the more you believe that it's true.
And welcome to Premier Fitness. I'm Gene Williams, your yoga instructor, and I'm here to tell you about the benefits of yoga.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining us. You have just tuned in to Where is the Love? I am your host. I am Stephanie Hockenhall. Joining me is my son, Gene Williams.
Good day, mate. Coming on into you. It's been a minute, huh?
Hey,
Seems like it's been a minute.
hey.
How you doing? How you doing? How you doing, baby? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm ready to get this show going. How you doing?
Yeah, we got a great one.
How
Got
you
a great
doing?
one planned. I'm great. How your mama doing? I'm great. I'm looking forward to the show. I definitely know it's gonna be a great one.
Yeah, I'm excited too. Y'all, we are celebrating 2 years of doing our show. You can watch us right now on Roku or Amazon Fire. Go to those devices and type in the search box, type POD TV space LIVE, and you can watch us live right now on TV, or you can. You can be watching us on our YouTube channels, Love Misunderstood Institute or Premier Fitness 0210. So we are ready to get this party started. Again, like I said, we're celebrating 2 years. So we are bringing back guests that we have had to see where they are now versus where they were when they were on the show before. So without further ado, we welcome Irisha Williams and Coach G. Come on in the room. Come on in the room. Hey.
Hello, Mike.
Hello there, Governor.
And my two lasses.
Hey, y'all, again, welcome back to the show. We're excited you are here. Thank you for saying yes to helping us celebrate 2 years.
But of course, Mom.
Yes, we are super excited. Thank you. This has been a fun journey. Gene, today I sat and watched our first episode, the whole episode, on the Zandra Network, Zandra TV Network.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, so awesome. It was amazing just to see that there and to watch the entire show, to look at how we started and how we were doing things when we started and how we've been doing things since. We've changed so much because at first, y'all, we were watching videos showing recent videos of bullying, things that were happening, and then Gene would interview me to, get me to tell people how to respond to, the bullying that they were experiencing. And so it was something to look all the way back to over a year ago.
Way
like
back.
I said, the very first episode. So we're going to get started. We are doing this like a panel session for those that are watching. If you have questions or comments, please comment. Ask questions. And Gene, I'm going to let you go ahead and get started with the questions.
For sure. All right. So, as we discussed before, we are a people who want to not only celebrate just like what people are doing, but, small victories, large victories, all of the above. Right. So, are there any new developments in your business and or your life that you want to discuss since you've been on the show last? Ladies first, always ladies first.
That's why I paused.
We're gentlemen. We're gentlemen. We're gentlemen. I'm going to open the door for you.
Okay. Thank you.
Right
that was
ahead,
the
lovely.
gentleman's. That was the gentleman's silence. Got it. Okay, cool.
You know how they used to say, "Don't all jump at once."
Exactly.
I was just sitting waiting.
Go ahead, lovely.
Thank you so much. I shall go ahead and share. Thanks for having me again. My name is Irisha Williams. I am an educational consultant. I am a teacher specialist, and I have enjoyed meeting Stephanie and Jean and following their journey through this process of educating our community on bullying and its effects and impacts on our community. So, since the last time I was on the show, I've definitely learned a lot about bullying. In my professional life, where I'm a teacher specialist and educational consultant, I've definitely spoken to a lot of parents about what their children are experiencing in different educational settings when it comes to bullying. Um, Also, in my business life, I am in the process of opening a school um, called Inspire Academy. Thank you so much. It's been a long journey in my head and then a long journey on paper,
Right.
developing this concept. And now it's been about 6 months of a journey of finding a location, getting your business docs in order, your organization chart, and things like that in place. And so I'm continuing that journey forward. We are planning to open this August in Arizona. So
Wow.
yes, I'm super excited about that.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. And I will
Excellent.
definitely
Yay.
be partnering with Stephanie and Jean to bring, some of their business aspects to my school, because what you guys do for the community is so important, educating us in different areas. And so um, I just look forward to our continued collaboration and partnership.
Thank
That is
you. We're
awesome.
excited.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Congratulations. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Micro school.
Yeah.
That's exciting. It makes me think about homeschooling the kids,
Mhm.
Hmm.
and I was thinking about that today as I was thinking about you coming on the show and looking at your video, in the past few days, and knowing what that you were talking when you were here before about doing this, this coming. So it's exciting to see that it is closer, um, and that you're still working hard at it. Um, it's exciting.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Awesome. We definitely love to have you back to talk about, I don't know, somewhere after you open the school, maybe just kind of show us, the progress and the kids. It'd be great. I love to see that you're pushing towards your goal continuously, and now you're taking something from your thoughts and manifest it out into the world. So that's
Right.
beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. And I definitely love to come back because our program is inclusive. We will have students that are typically developing, right? Students with neurodiversity and students with special needs. And so having that community, that collaboration, that partnership between all of our communities is so important. And so we'll definitely have lots of conversations, questions, and, intriguing things to say about that. So I appreciate
Awesome.
the
And
invite back.
as you were talking, the thought of all of us right here are educators. Gene homeschooled his kids too. And coach, he'll tell you what he does, but he's an educator as well. And he got kicked out.
Uh-oh.
Oh
And he disappeared.
Come back.
Come back.
What?
There we go.
And coach will tell you what he does. Bam, he's gone.
no. Right.
Maybe on another show, coach.
Right.
I think our
Look.
producer's getting me back for them comments I made pre-show. So
Hey.
I watch it.
Okay, coach, the same question. Gene, you want to ask it again, or coach, you got it? You got your answer already.
oh yes, ma'am, I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot has happened since, and I can't wait on the last piece of this to update Gene on. But first and foremost, first things first, I want to honor our host and thank you guys for inviting me back. And I'm so excited and blessed that you've reached that 2 year mark. That's
Yeah.
outstanding.
Yes.
Gene, I can't wait that we get to have a show on Breakable Souls, and we get to say that. So I'm pretty
Right.
excited about that for you guys. I'm honored to see Black Excellence to my right on the screen here with Miss Irisha. I don't know your story. I'm excited to learn your story, but it's powerful, and the excitement that's just simply in your smile speaks volumes to where you're at and what you're doing and how much it's transformed your life. And I just know that will transform the lives of others that you come in contact with. So blessings to you, my sister. It's awesome to see Black excellence at work. So my story a little bit different. I've transitioned to a new position on the job. I'm a now recruiter at a local college here. It's a nationwide college, but recruiting students into the college, and it allows me to bring in all of my skill sets. As a minister, as a coach, as a mentor, as an educator, as a counselor. So just seeing the diversity of students that I'm able to encounter on a day-to-day basis, and the varieties of methods of bullying that they've had to experience in their lives. Part of our process is interviewing that student to make sure, we call it career match, to make sure that we place them in the right career. Um, Again, we're not about jobs, we're about careers. So we really spend time and dial in to figure out who they were in the past, what they've experienced, who they are today, and what their future self, what their expectations for their future self looks like. So I love what I do. I've done it very well. I've grown pretty quickly and kind of blown expectations. So that's been really cool. Um, I guess personally, a lot has shifted because I guess I definitely have a greater understanding of bullying now. I don't know if you guys remember, I thought bullying was just kind of one thing, and you gave me this mass diversity of all the different ways. And we've always thought that was youth or children, and it's us, it's
Yes.
adults. I mean, the corporate
Yes.
world is full of bullying,
Oh yeah.
Yes.
and I see that literally every day. So one of my experiences is former boss is not happy about the success that I have in the current position, and is trying to bully me and create situations and things that make me look bad. But it is what it is. God is good, and He always keeps me in front of those things.
Yeah.
But one of the things I wanted to really talk about today was parental and the situations between parents and their children. So I think what I've seen a lot of is children bullying their parent. And I'm
Yes.
not and I'm not necessarily talking about, being a coach, I see young people, younger children, adolescents, bullying their parents and not being obedient to their parents. But I'm talking about adult children that are bullying their parents and set expectations and are controlling and trying to dominate the lives of their parents. And it's like being a parent has now become a life sentence. We raise our children to grow up and to be independent. And we've raised a generation of young people who don't want to grow up and don't want to be independent. They want to latch on to the parent and hold on. So, and then the last thing I want to say, this is for Eugene, is, in our show last week, we talked about the pains of marital trauma and, separation, and then parental alienation, which is another form of bullying.
Oh yeah.
It's specifically that one. And I shared my story about my three sons. Well, yesterday, I got a call on Monday, a text on Monday, and I replied back to that text on Tuesday. I had to process, I had to pray, think it through. My eldest son reached out. I haven't talked to
Whoa,
him in, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 months. I haven't seen him in almost 2 years. I haven't seen
man.
him face to face in almost 2 years, and it was a very ugly, violent experience. Um, but reached out, and I had some anxiety about meeting, but I want reconnection and restitution of that relationship, reconciliation of that relationship. So I
Right.
reached out, met him there, and man, what a meeting! What a meeting!
Awesome.
Um, God just being God, and I had a dream the day before because I had
Mm.
anxiety the whole week, and I had a dream the day before, and it went exactly how I saw it in my dream. So
Wow.
I just give all praises to the Lord. I knew personally that would minister to you, because we literally just talked
Amen.
about that. So
Woo. Thank
that
you.
was a
Y'all miss
form
me
of,
out over here, man. Stop it.
but just another form of bullying. So I'm saying that to you to keep you
Oh
encouraged
man.
about your personal situation, that
Yeah.
it's going to turn. We talked about that in our show. It's going to turn. It just
Yeah.
didn't turn for me, and it's just the first step. So I'm excited, but recognizing
Right.
it's just the first step. But I'm
Right.
just telling you, my man, yours is coming too.
I
Amen.
appreciate that. I definitely
Amen.
need to hear that.
Yeah,
It's been a struggle on
And
that
that's
front.
so great to hear, because it's so hurtful when you experience it, bullying, when you experience it, period, is hard. But it's especially hard when you raise your kids and you gave them you gave them so much love. And like I was telling Jean earlier today, that I wouldn't have dreamed that some of the things that have transpired in our family, has
right,
transpired, because you give so much love, and support. And then when you don't, when they become adults, um then it doesn't always turn out the way you want, and it hasn't turned out the way I expected and the way I envisioned, you
right.
know, with my other child, and my grandkids. And it's been very painful. And today, well, Gianna celebrated her birthday a few weeks ago, or about almost a month ago now,
Right.
and today is my daughter's son's birthday. So not being able to see them has been really tough. So thank you for sharing, because for Jean and I, we know our time is coming, you
Yes.
know. So thank you for that testimony,
Yes.
you know. So
Hey,
uh
love you, bro. Love you, bro. I'm feeling you
yeah,
now. I love you, bro. It's coming.
yep, it
It's coming.
is. Um
It's coming.
so we're gonna move on.
Mhm.
It's gonna be all right, Jean.
Yeah.
I told you, it's gonna be all right. And Coach, thank you so much for
Yes, ma'am.
sharing that, because
Yeah.
Gene really needed to hear that.
I know.
He
I wanted
really
to
did.
encourage my brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you. I'm trying not to cry. I've been crying all day.
Yeah.
I've been crying all day. But
Well, so I don't mean to interrupt you, Mom, but
no, you go ahead. We
so
gotta move the way this thing is supposed to move. So
right, I
speak.
have to encourage both of you, because I was able to enter into that space with my son in a place of peace, where I held my frame. And a lot of that I learned from my experience from the last show. So, those were seeds and nuggets that you guys taught me as an adult, Black man. Um, I didn't go in there with anger or rage or wrath, or um, wanting to bring guilt or shame, or I'm right, you're wrong type of thing. It was just about understanding and
Yeah.
truth.
Yes.
And that made the biggest difference. I learned things um, that were mental blockages, I call scotomas, that both of us had. We just looked at the same situation and viewed it completely different, because we're
Yes.
different people,
Right.
and made
Right.
judgments based on that. And but Gene, to encourage you, when the light comes on, bro, the light comes on.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to him. And by him um, articulating his experience, the light bulb came on for me. And there were
Right.
even some areas that after he apologized, I was able to circle back and apologize, because I saw errors of my ways. Because I'd been telling him, son, I don't know why you're so angry at me.
Right.
I wish I could fix it if I knew, but I literally don't know, honestly. And he articulated that very well, very peacefully, and brought understanding. Um, so I'm just saying, bro, thank you guys. Kudos to you guys for planting seed in me so that I could hold my frame. And because I held my frame, we were able to have an adult, man to man, godly conversation that was
Yeah.
fruitful.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Definitely thank you for that.
Yeah.
Definitely need to hear
Yeah.
that. I'm in a struggle.
Yeah. So you've laid those foundations too. Mom too. You both have laid that foundation, and you will. And I'm declaring this now. You will reap what you sowed.
We say that.
Oh, you
We
don't
say
even know
that.
what you just said, brother. I know you
I
did,
know. I know what I said. I
but
know the weight of that and the magnitude and the
yeah,
gravity of that statement. You will reap what you've sowed because you reaped it in me. You reaped it in my conversation yesterday. So that was
yeah,
one of your victories, both of you.
it's a blessing,
And
man.
if I can just chime in, you guys are sowing so many seeds of support
Yes.
through this show, and just every day walking around, being positive with people, continuing your affirmations and your prayers behind the scenes is going to continue to slowly open that door back for you guys. So you guys are
Thank you.
always in my prayers for whatever you need in your lives. So yeah, you're definitely sowing those seeds to continue to reap a harvest. It's going to
Yes.
take time and patience because
Right,
unfortunately it's on his time, right?
Right.
Not ours. Because if it was up to us, it
right,
would be solved, done, and over with.
right,
Yesterday.
right.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah,
so just continue to
exactly.
keep the faith and continue to pour into yourselves and others the way that you guys have. It's definitely beautiful, and will definitely reap those benefits when it's time.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Um, I want to
Absolutely.
say that
Thank you.
Jean and I have grown a lot. I mean, so much with
Mm-hmm.
all of the stuff that we've gone through. We've grown a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's wonderful to see how we are now, but we have experienced so much. And in the last 2 years, specifically, since we started this show, we've been addressing a lot of our trauma. As it comes to us, we've learned so much about that and not just ignoring it. So the things that we teach these things and share these things because we experience these things and we know how it feels. And so, occasionally we sit and talk about how much we've grown and remember when this was going on and how, we weren't as strong as we are now and understanding, those valleys and the things that were happening in those valleys and how, we got back to the mountaintop, but it's a constant, up and down, up and down. But we do understand that when we're low, when we're in the valley, that is because it's time to grow. And
Mm-hmm.
Right.
so I'm just thankful for that because neither one of us used to speak up to a bully. We'd hurt and want them to be different to us and want them to treat us right and talk to us nice and hope that, if we did that with them, that they would change, but it didn't happen. And so we learned to use our voice because it's like, how they say you push me in a corner and I come out fighting.
Mm-hmm.
We got pushed in the corner so many times that we started coming out fighting, and we continued to fight, and we still continue to fight. You know, and that's the trauma piece of it. Experiencing those traumas and learning, oh, this is a trigger to that trauma. Okay, I don't want to carry this around anymore. I have to get rid of it. So I have to address it. I can't just it's not going to just go away. It's going to keep coming back unless I deal with it. So, like I said, we've grown a lot, experienced a lot, like a lot of other people, but we choose to talk about it. We choose to help other people talk about it too. Hey, this is what it is. What you going to do about it? You
Right.
know,
Right.
you going to let it keep happening, or are you going to, do something to make it get better? So, and I just wanted to say that um, because seeing people hurting is something that really gets to us.
Mm-hmm.
We don't like to see people hurting because we know how it feels to us.
That's
So
evident.
yeah, so we really do a lot to help others, and to be able to speak up for ourselves and to speak up for other people now is huge for us because we don't just sit back and watch and not speak up. It's hard. when we learn stuff, when a person learns stuff, we know we're held accountable for it. Now you have that knowledge. So what you gonna do with it?
Right.
You can't, you're not excused from it. You're aware of it. You can't say I didn't know, not truthfully.
Right. Well,
So
I'm hearing too much is given, much is required.
Oh
thank
Lord.
you.
Yeah.
Too much is given, much is required. Because you've made an intentional choice to be better and not bitter.
Yes.
Because it
Right.
was literally, you had the opportunity to go the other direction, and most of society does. You made a conscious, intentional choice to be better, and not just better yourself, but to take on the mantle to better the world and to educate the world. And I mean, I have to applaud and salute you for that, and the weight that I can only imagine that that carries, because it's hard to see victories in other places when you've sowed seed and you want victories in your own personal life. So in other platforms that I've been a part of, I get that too, and I'm watching all this advancement and growth, and I'm just like, Abba, where's mine?
Yeah.
Right.
Where's my
Yeah.
relief? Where's my victory? But as my sister so eloquently said, it's in His timing, and
Yeah.
we just
Right.
have to be patient and wait and trust that
Yes.
our time will come.
Yes.
Yeah. Agreed. Wow. Didn't expect it to go there.
I bring the fire, bro.
Yeah, like, yeah, I don't want to cry. I don't want to cry. I can help it. It just came out. It's like, okay.
Yeah, but
But
we learned
no,
that's
yeah,
okay.
yeah,
It is.
exactly. I was going to say vulnerability is, honestly, it is strength. And that's the hardest thing for me, just allow myself to be that vulnerable and that open. I usually I smile and laugh and, going like, hey, everything's good. And then really at home, I'm like, oh. But yeah. Yeah, man, it's rough sometimes, but I've learned a lot and I've grown a lot, and I know you all have as well. That's why like the things that you have just testified about, the new developments just shows growth,
Hmm.
and I commend you both for your growth. Um, and again, thank you for just being here. Black excellence is Gary said, for sure.
Um, this I'm so glad we're having this show. Irisha, you may not know this, but two things. They are doing a TV show together, Unbreakable Souls.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's the link that I sent you. So
Yes, congratulations.
That shameless plug, but we appreciate it, Ma.
Right,
so, and I don't know if you've had an opportunity to watch any of their shows, but their shows, they're awesome. I mean, just their uh,
Thank you,
vulnerability.
Johnny
Oh,
Payton.
thank you, Johnny Payton. Thank you so much. So, does anybody have anything else they want to add before we move on? Because this was very needed.
Yeah, definitely. It's like a perjury.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Yup.
We just had church.
Yes.
We sure did.
That is so true.
All right.
Amen.
All right, Minister Coach G.
Right, there we go.
Oh, Mark talking about let the church say amen.
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 Exactly.
Uh,
All right. So the next question: can you share any specific instances when you've applied what you've learned? And I guess you've already shared that what you've learned about the different types of bullying. Do you have either one of you have anything you want to add to that? Because both of you kind of touched on that.
Yeah, it's interesting that Coach G brings up bullying within the family, right? And in my profession as a teacher specialist, I do work directly with a lot of parents and have seen the impact of children bullying their parents. And it's very hard to watch and to, sit in a meeting where we're really discussing the concerns that the parent has for their student, not attending school, having, failing grades in their classes. And then the student just verbally attacking their parent. And it's hurtful and sad. And so being a part of that is very challenging. Some strategies that I would like for our districts, nationwide, worldwide, to start to bring in more counseling for those parents, because it's hard just being a parent of a young person, especially adolescents. And then being a parent of an adolescent who has anger issues or fear, anxiety, because all of those things show up in different ways in children. Some kids that have anxiety, it shows up right in a very bullying way, or they retreat within themselves and you don't know how to reach them. So it really just depends on how those things are manifesting behaviorally. But my heart really goes out to those parents that have, teens that are having difficulties in their life and then taking that out on the parent. It's very, very hard to watch. And so, yeah, I definitely, within my program, want to bring some parent counseling and coaching into, that scene to help parents really learn about themselves and learn how to navigate those challenging conversations and instances with their teens.
So I want to add something to that, and this is something
that
that
was beautiful.
Jean has been experiencing as well. When it comes to the parents, parents are put in positions where they can only do so much in public, especially when it comes to dealing with their children, because of the ridicule, you know. So parents are put in a very tough position, because whereas they might respond to the kid in this way at home, well, now I'm in front of other people, other adults, and I have to watch how I respond. And so I say that because, that Jean experienced that because of, having to do the therapy, with his daughter now, with the way, and you heard him mention parental alienation. So with that same issue, it's hard to, or same setting, it's hard to speak your piece because you don't want to get in trouble. I'll just say it. You don't want to get in trouble with the law, for example, or you don't want to be reported, So kids are smart.
Yep.
They know that. And so, kind of what I see and the way I see it is kind of like, I'm the kid. I dare you to say something or to do something in front of these people,
Right.
And so that is tough. So I applaud you for wanting more, counseling and, making that, choosing to make that available in your school, because the parents do need it. So I'm glad that you see that. And so I was just expressing how, the side that I see, it's just horrible. I mean, the paddle used to work for us,
Right.
and the parents
Did
didn't
it?
have a fit. Oh, you got a paddle at school. Now come on in here and get this whooping.
Right. Right.
We still alive, but we were respectful, and kids are so, not all kids, but a lot of kids are so disrespectful to their parents, in the way they talk to them, the way they act towards them, specifically in front of other people, so I just wanted to add that. So I applaud you. I'm glad you see that, and I applaud you for saying this is what I'm going to do about it.
Right. Right. Like I said, I
So
think it was
with those,
beautiful what she said. my spin or take on that would be the generation just above what you were talking about, because I'm dealing with that college age kid that is not a kid per se anymore. I mean, they're a young adult and their parent is no longer responsible for them. Yet there's spirit of entitlement where the child or the young person makes the assumption that mom or dad are responsible for education and different things like that. So I sit in an office with parents sometimes, as it was just articulated, but a much older student, a 21 plus age person that is bullying their parent, and that in my mind is too very difficult to watch and to bite my tongue, and have to stay professional in that scenario. So but Arisha, I wanted to throw out to you, I'm a motivational and inspirational speaker that I would love to offer services to you in your program to come and speak to your young people and even your parents. Young
Oh,
people are my
absolutely.
heart. That's what I do. I love that. So,
Coach, would
ma'am,
you? I will give you her email address. Send her that video.
which one?
The one of you
Yeah.
coaching. Uh, the one of you
Oh,
coaching and
oh,
reading the
Warrior Hoops.
Bible to your kids.
Yeah, Warrior Hoops. Uh huh. Hmm.
Yeah, it's awesome. So I'm gonna give him
Thank you.
your
Give him his
your
flowers right now.
yes, I just did. You smell them, coach? Yeah, because it is very inspiring. So you'll get to see. I just want him
Awesome.
to send that to you because
Yeah.
it is very inspiring.
Yes, ma'am.
Cool.
So, Jean, you want to add anything? Or anybody want to add anything?
Yeah, I would add on top of what Coach G said, because I have a 21-year-old and an 18-year-old. So they fall in that young adult category. And they also fall into that category where they do have a bit of a sense of entitlement, mostly because of how I raised them, but because also of how I was raised, right? I'm just out of the generation, Stephanie. My parents went to school when they had the paddle. We didn't have the paddle.
Mm-hmm.
But because, I had some traumatic things happen in my life as a young person, raising my kids, I wanted to give them more than what I had,
Yeah,
right?
Mm.
yeah,
And so, with wanting to give them more and not be the kind of parent like some other parents that I've witnessed that were the kind that, you know, if the police were called, there'd be a situation because, spankings were going beyond, a pat on the bottom.
yeah,
And so, witnessing those types of disciplinary actions on people, kids, I didn't want to be that way with my kids. And so, you do have a generation of parents that either experienced or witnessed, that type of discipline from their parents, or, saw it with other families and were like, not my kids. I don't want to raise my kids like that. And so, with not having that type of discipline, you have to substitute it with something else.
yeah,
And it took me as a parent a long time to figure out what that replacement discipline was going to be.
Yeah.
Luckily, I found,
So
right,
good.
a way of lessening that entitlement for my kids and instilling a certain level of discipline. It did take some years. I'm still working on it today because, you know, they still live with me. I have one that's just graduating from high school, so of course he's still here with me. Um, but there is kind of like a, hey mom, can I have $50 for so and so? And I'm like, that's not, is that a need or is that a want? Like, where are we with
Right.
this? Right.
yeah,
And so I say that to say these new kids coming up have a group of parents that were really stuck in the middle. And if you don't seek your own replacement for disciplining and interacting with your kids, it's just going to be what it is.
Right.
And
The
so,
chaos.
and sometimes, a lot of times, it is definitely chaos.
yeah,
And so, having people like you guys and Coach G come out and really, talk to parents, talk to kids about how their interactions actually play a part in how the kid's development
Awesome.
is so important, right? Because a motivational speaker and just reading and searching are ways that I found a replacement discipline. And so I'm now passing that forward through my program and coaching other parents that are, in similar situations as I am.
Yeah.
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 Awesome. And I did want to say, like, actually, I don't believe in corporal punishment. Like, I used to get my butt tore up. So I was like, I'm not about to,
Mama going,
and,
yeah.
like,
Yeah,
yeah,
I was
I
going to
tore
ask
that butt
him to
up.
speak to this because of how he changed, because of
Yeah.
how he changed his. So go ahead, Gene, because he didn't do
Yeah.
what I did. I did what I got, but he didn't
Right.
do that. So speak to both sides of that like you're doing. Go ahead.
Mama said, knock me
Yeah.
out.
That is not
So,
okay.
upside your head, go. Oops, upside your head.
Right. I'm like, I'm feeling some trauma well up right now.
Oh, goodness.
God, Gene
But
choked
yeah.
up.
Oh man. But yeah, so I didn't like it at all. I think it was always like I'm an intelligent being, so let's just talk. You have an issue with something I did, let's talk about it. You look at me, my mom has a certain look. You know that look. All black mothers have it. All black mothers have that look. Come on, Irish. Uh-huh. Now don't do it. Don't do it.
We
Don't do it.
do.
I know you got
We do. I got it. Sorry. It's my superpower. Trust me.
Right, right, right.
Trust me. I walk into a classroom like, and them kids be like,
And then the boomerang shoe is coming next.
all I
You
got
wear the energy. I love it. I love it. Yeah.
that black
So
mama
my
look go a
mom
long way.
on multiple kids. They ain't even got to be yours. You look
Right,
at them,
right.
so
That part. Exactly.
hands, sitting flat, straight back with their hands in their lap. Hey. So, so to go past all of that, yeah. So I just believe in talking to my daughter and my kids, both my kids. And if after we talk, I give you warnings, and you get to a certain point. After the third one, it's like, okay, now here's a consequence, and you have to. For instance, all kids like to be on devices. So it's like, okay, so you do this. I've given you warnings. I've tried twice. Now this is a consequence. So you have to do more work for an hour. As opposed to getting on your device. I don't believe in, like I said, being harsh, but an hour more of schooling. I don't see anything wrong with it. You got to read a book for an hour and then you get to play. Okay. Well, maybe you'll think about that. I don't really like reading. Well, you learn something and you learn the consequence at the same time.
Right.
You're an intelligent being, so let's act from there. So anyway, yeah, that's how I turned that. I didn't want to be because I got picked on a lot, in school, just because I was a nice kid, and so I didn't want to give to her what I experienced, and to either of my kids. As a young person in my 20s, early 20s, our autistic son, we didn't really know how to deal with him. So the first year we would tap him on the hand, and I was like, first off, he's always looking like, "Why'd you hit me?" And I'm just like, he doesn't understand. So
Right,
maybe let's try something else.
right.
And after a while, it's like we found those things that help them understand. Okay, if you do this, this is a negative thing, and there's a consequence to that negative thing. There's a positive consequence for a positive action. I mean, it goes both ways. Um, and I always wanted to be the person that like we all say, we want to give them better than we had. And I know that everybody does what they know, and it makes sense. And then once you look back and you're like, it didn't quite work for the people before me, so maybe I can try something different. So you set a new standard, and you know that's always been my thing. We all make mistakes. We all make an abundance of mistakes, but owning them and paying attention to being conscious of the mistakes that you make and going back and making, excuse me, amends for your actions,
Right.
and then not repeating the negative habits. That, I mean, not only does that show your kids that you're not perfect, but it shows your children that, we all have the ability to grow. And, at this moment I saw it this way. And then after a minute I was like, oh, I saw it a little different. I have a different perspective. So just always leaving it open for the kids to grow and think about the consequences of your action, because again, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. That is a universal law. So
Hmm.
think about what you do, think about what you say, think about what you think, because it creates a reality. So that's always been my thing.
That's good, brother. What I
That
took
is.
from what you just said is ultimate accountability. That,
Right from the
you know,
beginning.
we
From the
yeah, we want
beginning.
to blame either the parent or the child, but wherever the original error came from is where the accountability needs to take place, because or you might say it this way, the root cause of the error or the, the bad behavior, that is what needs to be addressed, because we're just building houses on top of houses from that point.
Right.
If we go back to the foundational root cause and tear that down, all the secondary houses fall as well.
Right.
So I love what you guys are talking about in that space. So that's good.
Yeah, and things are generational automatically. Um, and so, like for example, in what Gene just shared, he saw, he experienced generational, you know, um, responses and reactions, and he chose to change it. The same way with me when it came to love, desiring love and wanting to be loved, and constantly telling my kids, I love them because that's what I wanted. So that's just another example of change, seeing something and experiencing something that, you weren't happy with or comfortable with, and you decided, okay, how can I change this? What do I need to do? How do I go about doing this? So, um, it is very important, like you said, coach, to see to deal with the root. It may not be with you, it may be something generational, but then you have to choose, well, does it stop here or do I continue this? And so some things, like I just shared, I continued because I thought, it was okay, or it was not. I ain't gonna say okay, I thought it was the way,
Right.
so and then for me it was the way, but for Gene it wasn't the way, so he's like, no, we're not doing that, so
Right.
um that's good, when you can see things like that. So what else, anybody want to add
Mm.
Yeah.
anything?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Gene.
I was gonna say that always, for me, like I said, it just always created anger and a feeling of uh, I don't know. I guess I didn't have a voice. So and I mean, what we're doing now with the show, this is what we talk about is giving people the voice, the tools to speak out about
Right.
what's transpiring in their lives, and to make um, changes in their generation that can be evolutionary, and just put their entire familial line on a different trajectory. Um, we all learn, we all make mistakes, and that's the beauty of it all. Like to make mistakes and at least be aware enough to own it, and
Yeah.
then make a difference. Because
Right.
a lot of people be like, hey, this is the way I am, and okay, you do realize that the universe around you is in constant growth mode. It's not stationary. It's not perfected. It's perfecting. There's a difference.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a difference. So, and that's always work. As you're perfecting, if you perfect it, it's crystallized. It's not going anywhere. But if it's perfecting, constantly getting better, that's the goal. We're all evolutionary beings, and
Evolving.
and the more that we realize, we can sit back and look at our mistakes, and even the things we do right. It creates a ripple effect. When you're in the room with a person who's constantly trying to grow, it's like, Something's different about this person. What is that? What is that energy? I want to know. You
Yeah.
gravitate towards that.
Yeah. So, Irisha, what advice would you give to someone who wants to support others experiencing bullying?
Oh, that's a great question. There's a lot of different support that people can give to someone that's experiencing bullying. I think that being open and receiving that person for how they are and increasing the communication with that person that's experiencing bullying is very important. Because, like Jean was saying, one aspect of certain, harsh discipline is the fact that the person who's receiving that discipline feels like they don't have a voice, right? Like they are out of control. The situation that's happening is out of their control.
Yeah.
And so a person that's being bullying really needs to have that void filled, that they do have a voice and their voice is valuable,
Right.
because the bullying dampens that,
Right.
Yeah.
right? It lowers your self esteem, it lowers your ability to think clearly, it really takes away your autonomy of being able to make good decisions,
Decision for
and make
yourself.
just decisions in general a lot of times. And so having someone that is able to communicate in a positive way with that person is super, super helpful. I don't know if I shared or how much I shared on the last show about my experiences with bullying as a child. And it was very difficult being in that situation where other people were telling me, my value and my worth. Um, and
Mm.
so going through adolescence after that experience, after years of those experiences, was really difficult for me to know what voice was mine and what voice was the bullies.
Empathy.
And
Mm.
I was literally in a therapy session with my counselor a few weeks ago, because this venture that I'm on, in my business, comes with a lot of fear and anxiety. And I was telling her, like, I hear these internally, like, who do you think you are, trying to do this? You Who do you think you are, like trying to lease a space and trying to bring this to the community? Like, who do you think you are? And she's like, is that, whose voice is that?
Right.
Yeah.
And I really had to stop and think, like, whose voice is that? So going back to those bullying situations, I can now specifically remember people saying to me as a child, who do you think you are? Right?
Mm.
Wow.
Like, your
Wow.
mom combs your hair, she dresses you. Who do you think you are? And so
Wow.
that now
To
became a
stand
little
out.
voice in the back of my head at
Yeah.
this big
Right.
age of 47,
Yeah.
still hearing that voice 35 some years later.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Wow.
Right? And so being able to have a person, a safe person to communicate my fears and concerns and anxieties with, has really helped me to understand where that bullying happened and that how it affects me, and then learning how to re-script those things within
Yeah.
myself. So yeah, communication with a safe person is a blessing, a lifesaver,
It's
for
powerful.
people
Yeah.
that have experienced bullying. Absolutely.
That is
That's
awesome.
awesome. Coach, same question. What
I
advice
got a
would you
real quick
give?
question.
What'd you say, Jean?
I was saying the same question for
Oh, what
No,
advice? You got the question. Go ahead.
yeah, I mean, I'd have to echo that. In my terms, I guess I would say is be that lifeline, because I know I learned in my therapy, my bully, you guys know, was my father. Um, I'm thankful for it. The end of that too, the 63 days, that story, the journey of a warrior, um, and the restitution that came from that, the reconciliation. Why am I restitution today? reconciliation.
That's a word.
Am I
That's-
needing money or something for the shoot?
That's actually still a good word to use.
Yes.
Right. I'm gonna say you're actually in the proper context. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I'm thinking one thing, but I obviously guess the spirit is like, nope, say that word. So,
That's stupid.
but anyway, so um, in my personal experience, I've just learned to hold my frame. That and I think one of the ways that I've been able to her point, to learn to hold my frame is make that a superpower. By being a change agent for someone else, by being someone that they can listen to. What really helped me was just being a sounding board. Well, first of all, me just sharing, just simply getting it out, just talking, and that negative energy that we all know, from Gene and our show, that if it doesn't exit the body, it becomes something else, and that's where sickness and disease and depression and anxiety are heightened and go to next levels. So it's vital for not just young people, I'm going to say everybody, just to release and get that out in whatever way you need to do that, but to get it out. I've learned that some of those emotions can come out through talk therapy situation, and some are so potent that you have to get them out through physical means. Like for me, it's I know, Gene, yours is probably the yoga mat. We talked about this. Mine is the heavy bag. 2-3 minutes on a heavy bag gets that destructive energy out, and I'm able to release that to allow space for now more positive energy. I think that is one of the primary reasons that we're seeing such a rise in bullies in this country today, is because people just don't have places or means to release that negative energy. And as you said, Mom, it's generational. That just pours out at the wrong time. So you're adding the generational. So we talked about this. Post-traumatic slave syndrome is real. Post-traumatic slave syndrome is real. So you add that along with now our individual and personalized traumas on top of that. And of course, it's going to come out at the optimum worst time.
Right.
And if not dealt with, then we all become individual bullies.
Yes.
And we're bullying. What's sad about that is we bully those that we love,
Yeah.
probably first and foremost.
Easy target.
So that's my take.
What'd you say, Gene?
Now I said the people that are closest to you are the easiest target.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, we are at the end of our time.
Oh,
So,
wow. This is a great
So
show.
sad.
Man.
yeah,
Oh,
the
wow.
time is gone.
Right.
This has been a fabulous show. Thank you for sharing your experiences and insights. It's clear that you've been thoughtful and proactive in your approach in bullying prevention.
Yes,
Thank you.
ma'am. You're welcome.
We appreciate your honesty about the challenges you faced. It's important to acknowledge the difficulties in advocating for change. So, thank you.
You're welcome.
Your dedication to spreading awareness and taking action against bullying is truly inspiring, and your efforts are making a difference.
Mm,
Thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you for celebrating our 2 years with us.
of course.
Yay, well,
So we send you away with peace,
and
send you
love.
away with love and joy. Take care, and thanks again for being a part of our show.
Honored.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Where is